Okay, so thanks guys for tuning in tonight. We are so excited to be going over just this basic information for all of you who maybe have joined a while ago or maybe just got started or don't really feel like you've ever given it 100%. This is what we want to go over tonight. We want you guys to really finally give this 100% of your true effort. Don't just do it 5% or 20% or post once in a while. The magic happens when you're consistent working every single day, doing everything, not just a few things. So that's the information we're going to go over with you guys tonight. And I'm so excited to be having a few other people hosting this with me. So first thing that I wanted to go over is just a reminder, guys, we are paid to put customers in the computer, to put distributors in the computer, and then to teach our distributors to do the same thing, to put customers in and other team members in. And really anything else besides obviously doing these trainings and getting that inspiration and that personal development, anything besides that, if it's not getting you a customer or a distributor or teaching you how to do it, it is wasting your time. So if you're doing a lot of things, maybe you're spending way too much time just trying to find all the information. I know there's a lot of greens out there that, they've got to know everything. And that's okay because that is part of your personality. Maybe you just don't feel comfortable sharing until you feel like you know everything. But I will also tell you that for whatever reason, it was like when I didn't know everything or, I just felt like I worked even better because I wasn't filling my mind with all of these activities that were keeping me from enrolling customers and team members. So like when I got started, I feel like because I didn't know a lot, I just knew, okay, I got my steps right here. I need to sign up a customer. Okay, how am I going to do that? I'll reach out to my friends and family. If that's not something you guys have done yet, really do that this month, especially with all that extra Christmas cash we have going on with the points. Because if you guys get 5 customers, that's $100. If you get 10 customers, that's $200. There's obviously other ways to earn them even faster, and that's when you help a distributor. So you're not the one having to find all the customers. It's super duplicatable, guys, if you just follow our steps. So, okay, steps to success. If you haven't printed them off yet, you're going to do that tonight. If you don't have a printer, then just write it out. I literally didn't get a printer in my house until I think I was like Presidential Diamond or something. I remember Andrea came over and she's like, you still don't have a printer? I'm like, I don't know why. I just have never bought one. She's like, they're like $20. But anyway, I do have a printer now, and so I don't just write out my steps every month. So get your steps to success printed off. What I want you guys to do is I need to pull this out because I signed a customer today and a distributor yesterday, and I haven't written them down yet. But anyway, I want you to write one more line here, okay? Because I want everyone getting at least 5 customers this month to earn that $100 bonus with the points. And then your Go Ruby, your 3 distributors, okay? Have that printed out. Guys, it is so simple. We really overcomplicate it. If you have yet to, like I said, reach out to your family and friends, really think of it like this, okay? Number 1, as you're going through your list of contacts of people that you know and you're not really sure what to say to them, first, I want you to think business-wise, the opportunity part of the business. Who do you know that really could use extra income right now? Honestly, I feel like there should be a smaller list of people that are happy with their income, and the list of people who would love to earn extra income should be I mean, the biggest list ever, because if you were to even come and ask me, hey, are you happy with how much you make, or would you like an extra $500? I still would tell you I would like an extra $500. I don't know one person in the world that would say, no, I'm really good with where I am. I don't need any more income. I love that I'm capped out where I work. Nobody says that. So really think of that, okay? Don't think of it as, I don't want to bug them. I don't, hold on. I just saw a question really fast. Danielle, can you move the loyal customers? No, if you move them, then they won't count as yours. So what I personally, I'll just tell you this real fast. What I actually have been doing is when I sign a distributor, my goal is to actually make sure they get at least 4, because you earn more points if you do that. You actually earn 7 points if you enroll a distributor and they get at least 4 customers. Then you'll earn 7 points off of that. So let's say that maybe they got 2. I would rather me move 2 of mine under them to make sure that I get all those points. You earn more points if you move them. But if you haven't enrolled a distributor, keep them underneath you and then keep those 5. So that's what I would recommend. Okay. So don't feel like when you offer the business to people that you're annoying them or that you're bugging them. Honestly, you need to realize that this opportunity can change their life. Look at how many people's lives it's changed. For me to start believing that it could change my life, I had to get on our weekly calls, on our corporate calls, and I would sit there and listen to these leaders talk about how I used to have to walk to work for 2 years. My car was broken down in my front lawn, and I was able to walk to the Range Rover dealership and pay cash for a Range Rover because of this business in just a few months. I listened to these stories. I remember that one stuck out to me so much because that was like my dream car. I really wanted a Range Rover. And I was like, holy crap, this girl just walked to a dealership and paid cash for one. And the more I listened to these stories, I could relate to them, and I believed that I could do it. But it really started, it took me listening to other people's stories, hearing other people's stories, reading other people's stories. And then before I had my own, I would just tell people where I was going, and people wanted to be on that journey with me. I said, hey, I'm going to Diamond. You can come with me or not. And you don't need to think of the perfect thing to say to them. Really just speak from your heart. What are your goals with this business? Do you want to stay home with your kids? Just speak from your heart and invite people along the journey with you. But really, right now, who do you want to help earn extra income before Christmas? Do you have a sister or a brother or a cousin that you know would just be so grateful to have an extra $500 before Christmas? Those are people you want to reach out to. Don't wait for them to come to you. One thing that literally drives me insane is knowing Caitlin sat there for about a year just crossing her fingers that I would reach out to her. She's like, I was just waiting for you to say, I think you would be so good at what I do. Do you want more info? Or are you open to hearing more about what I do? It's so simple. That's really, I feel like that saying, are you open to learning more about what I do, how I work from home? Are you open to learning more about it? That is the best way to reach out to people. But because I know that now, I'm like, man, when I see somebody and I see somebody that I feel would be great on my team or that I really would love to work with, I think of Caitlin and I think, what if that's what they're thinking? I would rather reach out and them say, I would never be interested. I would literally rather that than have them sit for a year and just be waiting for me. So reach out to those people. Get your hundreds list. We're going to talk about that in a minute. But write down anybody that you want on your team. Who would be on your dream team? Who has the personality of somebody you want on your team? If you're feeling like, okay, I have a few potentials, but that's it, and you're just working off, like maybe you have 2 potentials right now, but it's just like back and forth all the time. Guys, I really suggest you got to always be adding to that list, because when I very first joined, the second person that was interested, her name was Rachel. She was like the second potential that I had. She ended up joining like 3 years later. But I remember she reached out to me and said, okay, I have 3 potentials right now and I'm just waiting for them to sign up. And I said, Rachel, you will always be waiting if you keep those same 3 potentials. You need to always be adding to your list. You can't just sit and wait for them. I'm like, what if I would have waited for you? I would still not be executive. But I'm ambassador because I didn't sit and wait for you for the time to be ready for you to join. She's like, oh my gosh, you're so right. I will just keep sitting here and waiting. What if it takes them 3 years, you know? So always be adding to your list. If somebody's not showing interest anymore, keep them on your list. Every 6 months, it's really weird, but this is actually like a fact. Almost every 6 months in a person's life, something big changes within their life. And so that's a good time to follow back up with them. Follow back up with them every 6 months. If they're like, no, it's not my time, keep them on your list and follow up with them, but don't just sit and wait for them. Okay. And then again, with customers, guys, who in your family and friends or warm market have you not reached out to yet? I really challenge you to do that tonight or tomorrow. It's kind of late, so maybe wait till tomorrow. Do it tomorrow. You know, if you're nervous, just hurry up. Give yourself 5 seconds, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and send the message. Invite them to do a 90-day challenge with you. You know, tell them that you're trying to reach a goal and you need 5 customers. Maybe it's, say, I'm trying to get some extra Christmas cash. I'm really excited about this new bonus, and I just need 5 people to try a product from me for 90 days. You're going to get my 90% discount, my 40% discount on any product. Maybe what are some of your goals right now? Do you want to grow out your hair? Do you want to lose weight or tighten an area? Just really simple, guys. Just speak from your heart again and just ask, what goals do you have? And you can go from there. So today I had a couple people respond under a picture that I posted of a before and after. And they were like, what products did this person use? And then I ended up reaching out to every single person. And I said, these are the products she used, but what are your goals? So I can better, you know, I can give you, or I can direct you more to a specific product, because, you know, not everyone wants to take 50 different things. And so, you know, I had one girl say, my goal is literally just to lose like 10 pounds. And so I gave her a few options. Then I asked, what's your budget? I always ask that, because I don't want to throw the system at her if she's looking at something for $20, you know. Then I'll also give her my personal opinion that, okay, well, if you want to lose, like, for somebody who maybe wants to lose 30 pounds quick, you know, fat fighters are not ever, that's not going to probably get you to your goal. That's a good place to start. But if you want to lose that much weight, I would suggest this, and then you can, like a pack, and then you can kind of go from there. Another tip I have for you guys, I just started doing this. And instead of, when I, like for the system, I actually showed her the system today. And instead of saying it's $147, I tell them how much it is a day. So hold on, let me see what this is again. Okay, 147. So I'm like, for $4.90 a day, that's what this pack is. And they're like, oh my gosh, like one shake, some of the shakes out there are that much money just for the shake, but they're getting all of this product. So that's what I do. And the metabolic burn, I had someone sign up on that today, and that was only like $3.50 a day or something like that. And so they're like, oh my gosh, that's so, when you break it down to days, and I do the same thing with just simple products like the greens, it's about $1 a day. Hold on, let's see. Okay, hold on, I'm just reading some of the comments. Then if I can't afford it right now. Oh, okay. I see there's a conversation right here. Someone tells me they can't afford it right now. I always say this. So, Caitlin, hold on. I'm going to just unmute you. Okay. Do you want to just explain?
Oh, yeah. Okay. So I'm responding back to the chat.
Okay.
Okay. So somebody said my biggest response is I could really, wait, hold on. Oh, I thought she was talking about the products. Just kidding. Sorry. You can also, if they can't afford the opportunity, then you need to tell them they can't afford to not afford it, and they need to figure out how to come up with $100. I opened up a freaking credit card to get my business started, And I actually knew that and I don't really recommend doing that, but I knew that if I made my $100 back right away, I could pay it back, which pushed me to want to sign my 4 customers even quicker. But you can tell them, like, you can pre-sell your wraps, you can sell clothes, whatever. I mean, if you want it bad enough, you'll figure out a way to make it happen.
That's exactly right. I've actually, when I was talking to Caitlin about getting started, I remember her saying, if I have to, I'll sell my purse. And
my Louis Vuitton.
That?
Yeah. I was like, I'll freaking sell my purse. You're like, don't you dare.
Yeah, I did. I was like, no, we'll figure something out.
I'll make, but my mindset was, I don't care. I'll make it back. Like, I'm not going to not do well at this. So I'll make it back and I'll just buy a brand new one. And you still were like, don't you dare.
Oh my gosh, that's so funny. But that's funny. I remember that like really clearly, because also it was like a Louis Vuitton bag. I didn't understand. I didn't know that Louis Vuittons were like that much money. Oh my gosh. I thought they were like $100 bags. They're not, by the way. They're a little more than that. Okay, so you guys, you can always offer or suggest when somebody says that they don't have the money to get started. Give them ideas of pre-selling their wraps. A lot of people do that, so they can go on Facebook or ask some of their friends and family to buy a wrap from them. They'll give them their $25, so they'll round up $100, order their kit, and then when their kit comes, they can give each person the wrap that bought the wrap from them. There's a ton of different ways, though, really. I've seen people have garage sales. It really just depends on how bad do they want to do this. If they really want to do it, they will find a way. That's totally how I felt when I got started too. We did not have $99 just like extra. We had a bill for every dime that was in our bank account. We were negative all the time. So we did not have just $99. But what I saw it as, I said, I will sell those wraps when I get them. I will make my $99 back. And then immediately after that, I used a credit card. And again, I don't suggest this, but I did. And I ordered the huge booster, which, by the way, back then was like $500. And I ordered this huge booster. And then I held myself accountable to make sure I did parties, which terrified me, guys. I was so afraid of doing parties. But I was like, I have to make this money back. And I will not sell these for anything less than $25 per wrap. And I did. In one party, I sold 16 wraps. It was $400 in one night. So it was like almost right there. I already got my my money's worth of ordering that kit. And I continued just wrapping individually. And then I had booths I remember that 4th of July. I had a booth. I sold out of all of my wraps within like less than 2 months, and then making commissions. So it really, I just looked at it as, okay, this is me starting my business, and $99. I know businesses typically are a lot more than that. And so if they can just see that this is going to be worth it, and that investing their $99, they're getting their money's worth right away with their starter kit. So just give them some suggestions on what they could do to pre-sell. Okay, and Daniela, that's a really good comment too. Okay, now, first things first. Okay, so I know a lot of people on here are brand new or maybe haven't promoted yet. Maybe you haven't promoted to executive yet, or Ruby, or maybe you have, but maybe right now you're getting paid as a distributor. What I want you guys to do is tonight or tomorrow, print off an executive chart. I don't care if you hit Emerald at one point, but if you're not being paid as executive, start there. Get your executive chart and knock that out as quickly as possible. Also print off your Ruby chart and I always have at least 2 charts in front of me. The chart I'm currently working on, and then the next chart. Just because then if you sign any extra distributors, you know where to put them. I want to also suggest, I made a video about how to chart executive. I break it down very simply. I explain BV, GV, qualified legs. I go into my back office. I show you how to chart in your back office, and it's on executive. So I will post that in our team page tonight after this, so you guys can go ahead and watch that. It's only a couple minutes long, but that way you can really understand, okay, this is exactly what I need. There's no confusion. For me to go executive, I need this many distributors, this much volume underneath me. And then it's the same thing for Ruby. It's just, again, okay, you just need an executive underneath you and 2 more people on top. So I just explained that in better detail, but I do want you guys, wherever you are right now, if you're paid as a distributor, you need to have a new executive chart and start from scratch. The other thing I suggest is maybe you are charted diamond, maybe you're charted double or triple, but you guys, if there are people in your boxes that are totally not working, they're not even responding to you, maybe they're canceled or maybe someone under them is canceled, do not put them on your chart. It's so hard to not do that because you're like, but then I have an empty box right here and it's so frustrating. It is so much more frustrating to look at a whole chart of just dead legs. And I promise you from experience, it's easier to find new blood than it is to raise the dead. That's what we always say. To raise the dead, people that just don't want it anymore. Obviously, guys, keep them in your team pages. Keep them in your, talk to them. Stay consistently working with them, if they're, I don't know, showing any signs of wanting to do this. But if they really are not working, do not put them on your chart. It'll just make you that much more frustrated. Another thing hold on, let me see if I have, does Kelsey or Caitlin, do you guys have anything you want to say about that with charting? I know, Caitlin, did you?
Did I look like I was?
No, I thought you did.
It is easier. Okay, so I've rebuilt a million times, and just from what I've learned about rebuilding, it is so much easier to rebuild, and you can build really quickly if you have all new people because they're all excited and they all want to sign their customers and get their free product or whatever. So it may look discouraging if you have like a whole Ruby spot open on your chart that you have to fill quickly. But I'm telling you, I've done it in a month before. You can do it if you are bringing in new blood. It's so much easier. Exactly. So much easier.
Yep. Kelsey, were you saying something?
Okay, yeah. I couldn't unmute myself. One thing that Pam Souter always says is like we should never be rebuilding anyway if we're always building the business. So like if you have a brand new person and you help them go Ruby by completing your steps to success, the next month print off a brand new chart and decide who they are going to help go Ruby. And you're always just going to be helping people go Ruby and beyond that, because that's just the habit we should be in, is completing our steps to success and building those rubies.
Yes, that's exactly right. And that's so true. Because if we're always printing off our steps every month, that means we're always building, right? So what I always do is it just means I'm building in different places all the time. Maybe if someone falls off over here, well, then I'm building a new ruby over here or a new diamond over here. So really just look at it that way. You're always building anyway. Okay, now the last thing I want to talk about is your hundreds list. So this is going to be your list of people that you know, maybe people on social media that you would love to have on your team. Just write out 100 people's names. You can either print this off, you can keep a list in your phone. I keep mine in my phone. I always used to have it written out, but personally, I like to keep mine in my phone, and I use the app Google Keep. I know I did like a training on this just barely, but not everybody was on it. So it's this little one right here with a light bulb, and it's called Google Keep. But I keep all my lists in here, and I have them color coordinated. It's really nice. I love this app. So that's what I do. I keep my lists in there, and what you need to do is always be adding to this list. I forget what this person's name was, but they were the top earner in network marketing history ever. They've made the most money out of anybody in the world. I think they were making like $15 million a year, if I am right. Anyway, what their tip is what this person's tip was to make that kind of income is to have your hundreds list and add 2 people to it every single day. Guys, this was back in the day before social media. We can add so much more to that list on a daily basis. Now, what else he said was add 2 people to the list and find creative ways to follow up with them. And so again, with social media, it's so easy. We get to see into people's lives every day. So if you're adding, maybe do 5 a day, or go way above and beyond and add 20 a day, add 20 new people. But the key here is to consistently stay in their life. So you maybe don't want to go too much where you can't keep track because you're adding like 100 people every single day. But if you actually built genuine relationships, which is a handful of new people every day, do you know what that would do for you? I remember the math. If you added 5 people per day, that's 1,800, over 1,800. It's like 1,825 people per year. There is no excuse not to be enrolling people and finding new people. You can never use the excuse of I don't know anybody that's interested. If you're staying consistent with this, with networking and adding to your hundreds list on a daily basis, you will never have that issue. You will never run out of new people to talk to. So with that being said, and we'll go over more questions too. If you guys have questions, just make sure you keep asking them in the chat. But Kelsey, wait. You're unmuted, I think. Okay. Okay. So Kelsey's going to give a few tips. Thanks.
Okay. Hold on. Let me pull up my notes. Okay. So I am going to be talking about parties, specifically like launch parties and relaunching your business, because these things are so important and they can be seriously like life-changing for your business. I love doing parties. I do online and in-person parties, but when I first started, I was doing mostly just in-person parties. And that's honestly, I can say honestly, that is how I went diamond, was by partying. And sorry, I just had like so many thoughts go through my mind. So one thing to remember with parties is that even if you're afraid to do them, or if like no one showed up to your launch party, remember that parties are a numbers game just like anything else. So I like to compare parties to like messaging people on Facebook. Like that's like the in-person way to do it, because you have to get the information out to people. You have to invite people. You have to ask people. And that's the same for messaging too. But in person, it's so much easier to get all the information to a bunch of people at once. And it can save you like weeks worth of social media work. You can get it done in an hour. And so just remember that. Like if you're nervous, that's okay. It's a numbers game and you just have to keep inviting people. And I have like a bunch of tips that I'm going to share on how to like get people to do parties for you and stuff. But really don't be discouraged if no one shows up. I've had more no-show parties than successful parties, but the successful ones were really successful. And so, for example, at my launch party, Ashley came and launched my business for me. And my launch party was really successful. But then, like I said, I've had so many no-shows too. But at my launch party, I signed like 6 or 7 loyal customers and got my first distributor from it. So it was a really successful launch party. And so because I saw how beneficial parties could be, I was excited to keep doing them. And so I kept scheduling parties. And the first one I did by myself, I was terrified. Like I was so scared. I used to be really, really nervous. I still get nervous to like talk in front of people. And so I was like a hot mess before that party and I didn't know everything. I didn't know all the answers to their questions, but it was okay because I was just starting. And remember that, like, you don't have to know everything. It's okay if you say, you know what, I don't know the answer to that. Let me text my upline or let me find out for you. People aren't going to be like, oh my gosh, like it must not work because she doesn't know. You're brand new, or maybe you just don't know the answer yet. And that's okay. So don't hold yourself back just because like you don't know who to ask or you don't know the answers. So I kept doing them. And so I just asked like my first solo party, I just did at my house. And I was like, I'm just going to invite people who didn't come to my launch party, and I'm just going to like ask a few new people. And I had like, I think there was like 6 people there too. So I just kept asking, and I had to invite like 20 people to get 6 to show up. So you have to remember the numbers game thing. Like if you're only asking 5 people and no one shows up, ask more people. Excuse me. So then the other thing that it kind of, I learned from like doing all these parties was you get better as you go. And like the more you practice, just like with anything else, you're going to build your confidence. You're going to learn more about the products. You're going to get better at speaking in front of people or answering questions. And it gives you the opportunity to wrap a ton of people too, which that was a huge thing. Like every time someone saw results with the wrap, that I slapped that wrap on them, 45 minutes later, they took it off and saw results. That is really what sealed the deal with most people. And so I just kept practicing. And like I said, like so many times no one would show up, but I was like, hey, like on to the next one. And so keep doing that. Just keep asking people to host for you. But then as you sign distributors, make sure you were launching them too. Because a lot of the parties that I did were me launching businesses for my team. And it was so fun to do it together. I was going to talk about this in a little bit, but like if you're nervous, like do parties with your team, like start out that way. But I loved like launching their business because I had practiced. I had been doing these parties for a while and getting in front of them and kind of show just what Ashley did. You guys, I just copied what Ashley did for me and I just did it. Like she came and launched my business. So I was like, hey, I have to launch my distributor's business. And so just kind of setting that example and following your leaders, like what they're doing. If someone's successful, do what they do. Like that, to me, that was pretty simple. Like, hey, Ashley did a party for me and I signed that many people. I'm going to do this. Like, why would I stop? And so, remember that, like, just keep going, even if no one shows up. Like there were so many times where like one of my distributors was her mom and her mother-in-law. And guess what? They both bought product. So it doesn't matter if there's 10 people there or if there's one person there. We even say that one-on-ones, like one-on-one meetings, that can still be a party. Like you do the same thing. Get a wrap on them, go through the catalog, go through the party pad, and just like let them try products if you have them, or just be excited. And that's really, I was just like ignorance on fire. I was like, hey, I'm just going to keep doing these parties. I'm really excited. I love doing this. I'm growing and I'm learning as a person, but I get to meet all these new people. And it was really fun. Like I had so much fun doing that. And that's how I went diamond. So if you are new and just starting out, like my challenge for you this week, schedule a party and invite 20 people minimum. If you don't have a place to host it, or if you don't really want to do it at your house, have somebody host it for you. And I've found that most times those parties are more successful because you're dipping into somebody else's network. If you have a friend that knows a lot of people, then have her host it and have her invite all her friends, because you're going to have people in front of you that maybe you wouldn't by doing it yourself. So, okay, guys, I get so excited. I don't even know what I'm talking about anymore. So if you are not new and you need to relaunch your business, like for me, I just had my baby. I'm going to show her off. Look how cute she was. But for the past 9-10 months, I haven't done a party. And that's really embarrassing to admit, because you can definitely do parties while you're pregnant. But I think I did like 2. And they weren't great. So I really have recommitted to doing parties because that's what got me to diamond, right? So I'm going to go back to what I was doing, just like what the Zoom is all about, getting back to basics. So I'm going to relaunch mine. And this is kind of my plan that I had. It's funny that Ashley asked me to talk about this, because I really have been like getting set up to do parties. So a few things that I've been doing and that you should do if you're relaunching your business: ask your loyal customers to host for you, because they use the products. Most likely, if they're still ordering, they still like the products. And especially if you have people who are getting really good results with the products, you want them to host a party for you or come to a party, because they're just going to like do your job for you. They're just going to be like, oh yeah, the hair, skin, nails, my hair is so much longer. Da, da, da. They're going to sell the products for you because they love them. So ask your loyal customers to host. It can be online if they're not in person, or if they're not local to you, ask them to do an online one. And you like on Facebook, you can do, I can't talk. You can like share your screen. Like you can have 2 people live at a time on Facebook now. So I could like invite someone, like my loyal customer, to talk on my live video about how the products have helped them. So do it that way too, but ask your loyal customers because they are the best testimonies of the products. Another thing you can do is ask any friends or family that have said no to the business opportunity. And maybe they aren't super into the products yet or haven't ordered anything yet. Just say, hey, like, I know you want to support me. A really great way to do that without spending any money or joining my team is just hosting a party for me. And just say, it's super simple. I'll do everything. Just invite your friends. And you can even earn some free product if you do that. So kind of just let them know, like, you're not pressuring them to buy, you're not pressuring them to join, but let them know like dipping into their friends would actually really help your business. And most people who love you are probably going to be okay with that. So make sure you're asking anybody that has said no to the business opportunity, and anyone that you haven't asked yet, just ask. You guys, the worst that they're going to say is no, and that's okay. Like, they don't hate you. It's okay if they say no. So just ask. And I think that's the hardest part really, is just asking. After that, you know what to do. Like, you know what to do with the party. You can have your upline help you or whatever, but just open your mouth. And then a few things that you can do to be creative with parties, because I think that's why people say no, is like they get turned off to the idea of a party. Get creative with it. Like, do sample parties, or do like a spa night, like girls' night, where you just have it doesn't have to be 5 products even. It could be just the exfoliating peel and you just do like free facials for everybody. Or do like a bachelor night, like Ashley did that before, where we went and watched The Bachelor at her house and just sampled products during the commercials. Or like one that Amber Parker did recently was a sip and sample party. So all she did was just she had the keto coffee. So they tried different ways to do the keto coffee. But you could do that with like keto coffee, greens, the shake, so many different things. So get creative and just do fun things. Like, invite your friends over and just say like, hey, we're going to try my products. But make it fun, get creative with it. And just start, you guys. If you're nervous to do parties, if you've never done one, just do it. Because it's just like Ashley said, 5-second rule, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, just freaking do it, because it'll get easier as you go. And really, like, I was so scared and it just got easier and easier. And now I love doing parties. And then another thing, do it with your team. Like, invite your team over, have them invite people, and then ask your upline to help. I'm sure anybody would be willing to help you do a party, to kind of teach you how to do it so you can see how one is done. So that's kind of everything that I feel like I just like word vomited all that, but that's kind of like what I've done to be successful with parties and relaunching. Like, I've relaunched my business before. Like, this isn't the first time. Just start doing it. Okay. And then Ash asked me to just talk about being plugged in too. And staying plugged in is so important, you guys, because everyone's had that day where you wake up and you're just like, man, I suck. Like, I feel like crap today. Like, I'm not going to sign a customer. I'm not going to sign a distributor. And staying plugged in is how you can like turn that mindset around so quickly. And staying plugged in helps you know what's going on in the business. When you show up, you go up. That's like one of my favorite sayings. And I've applied that to my business since the beginning. Every time Ashley did a training, I was there. Every time there was like a 1-team-1 mission, I was there. If there was a bigger training like locally, I was there, because I knew if I showed up, I would learn something new, even if it's literally the same information. Trey would ask me that, my husband, he'd be like, why are you going to another one of these? Like, don't they just say the same thing over and over every time? And I was like, you know what? Sometimes they do, but I get something new out of it every time. And I leave with a new fire that like I didn't have before. And I get excited to work my business again, because being around like-minded people who are excited, who are striving to be successful with this business is it's empowering. Like when we're all together, that's why conference is the best thing ever. And if you didn't buy a ticket, you need to buy it tonight, because it really is the best thing for your business you could do is getting to conference. Because those who show up really do go up. It'll change everything. So a few things you can do to stay plugged in: get on the family call every Sunday. Even if you don't feel like it, like it's like 20 minutes, just listen to it. You will feel better, and it starts your week off so much better. The Show Me the Money calls, those stories are so inspiring, and it's so cool to get tips from people who have been successful and just hear different ways people have built their business. And then getting on trainings like this, like staying on team Zooms, staying plugged into your team page. It just helps you know what's going on. And you really do like become more knowledgeable of the company too. You'll learn like more about our CEO, about what kind of person he is, and he's the best person ever. You'll learn more about other people who have been successful or who have overcome challenges in their business. And you'll find a lot of inspiration from staying plugged in that you won't have before. And that really could change your business. If you're not being plugged in and you get discouraged, that could lead you down a road you don't want to go down. But if you're plugged in and getting inspired all the time, that could take you up a road, like uphill. You could be going uphill for a while and go to the top, because without that inspiration and excitement and just fire from other people, you won't be ambassador. Like you have to stay plugged in. You have to be on top of what's going on. And that just lights your fire and your excitement, and that attracts people to your business too. So that's everything I had.
Good. Thank you so much, Kelsey.
You're welcome.
Okay. You know what? Just to reiterate a little bit what she just said, with staying plugged in, you guys, okay, this is a business. It's not going to be sunshine and rainbows every single day. You know, I see people that join and within like 10 days are like, man, I'm already discouraged. I don't know if this is for me. But guys, really, what job in the world is going to be like fire every day? That's why we say stay plugged in, because you do, since this is your own business, you are the one running this business. You need to be the one that's motivated. And honestly, no one in the world can motivate you besides yourself. We can all be here to inspire you. You can watch people. For me, that was what inspired me. I would watch other leaders. I saw what they did, and it lit a new fire within me every single day. But I had to do it. Every morning, I started my day out by watching a YouTube video. For me, that's what it was. I would watch, it didn't matter what it was. I'd watch someone do a party while I was getting ready, and just like hearing them be excited got me excited, and it got me to work my business. So if you're feeling like, man, I just am lacking in the motivational department, find a way for you to light that fire again. And again, guys, getting around people, we're going to be having a training at my house on Saturday. If you're local, I live in Utah, so if you're not local, sorry guys, but we will be going live, so you can attend watching it live in our team page. But get around people, because that will light your fire faster than anything else. And then I just thought of this really quick, but I just wanted to remind you, it's November, guys. Right now is the best time to really be promoting Fat Fighters. For whatever reason, people love Fat Fighters right now during the holidays. I was going to say that with the loyal customers, and I totally forgot to. So if you don't know what product to talk about this month, that should be your go-to product. Talk a lot about what the Fat Fighters are, what they do. Go live and do a demo showing people what the Fat Fighters are doing in their stomach and how it helps you. You know, you can eat what you want, and you can feel without the side of guilt, right? So just be creative, but Fat Fighters are a great thing to be promoting right now with it being November. And then I don't remember. I was just taking notes. So anyway, thank you so much, Kelsey, for sharing all that information. Now we're going to be moving on to Caitlin. Hey, girl.
Hi. I'm so out of breath. I'm just going to tell you guys now, because so if I'm huffing and puffing, don't mind me. Okay, so I'm going to talk about our why. And you guys have probably heard this a million times over and over. We say it over and over and over. But this is like literally the most pivotal part, because if you don't have something that's pulling you there's like no point, right? Like, what are you even doing? What would pull you to get stuff done during the day or to push you out of your comfort zone if you don't have your why? So, okay, this needs to get done like tonight. Don't procrastinate and do this tonight. Your why has to get done tonight. And when I talk about your why, there's a couple things. I wrote down some stuff and I'm going to just read it to you because this can mean a lot of things for a lot of different people. But for instance, my why was, I just wanted to make enough money to stay at home with my daughter. I didn't want to have to go get a job. So I knew that if I could just make $500, my husband wouldn't make me go get a job because we could buy groceries and live off of the extra $500 that I made. So obviously my pull was I wouldn't have to leave my child. I wouldn't have to leave her with somebody I didn't know. I wouldn't have to pay for daycare. Like, it was so strong. I would have literally done anything to make sure I made it happen so that I didn't have to leave her. And that's how strong your why needs to be. And we say it a lot, but it's true. If it doesn't make you cry, you need to dig deeper. Like, you should be bawling by the time you're done writing out your why. So a couple things. What pulls you? Why did you start? Okay. What are you lacking that you need, that you know that this business can offer you? What are the desires of your heart? We all have desires in our heart. That's just how God made us. He gave us all desires, and they're not there just for to taunt us for no reason. They're there because there's a purpose why he gave us those desires. So what are the desires of your heart? Write those out. The day that I finally wrote those out, I was free. Oh my gosh, I have so much, he's given me so many desires. There's a purpose for these desires. Okay, so write down the desires of your heart. And like I said, if it doesn't make you emotional, you need to dig deeper. So your why is a must, okay? My why changes, and it's going to change. So make sure you're editing it as you go. Like, when you cross off your first goal, make a new why and just keep going. Then the second part is sharing your why. This should be broadcasted to the entire world because, for one, it holds you accountable. And for two, when you tell yourself, okay, I'm going to tell the world, you're not giving your brain a plan B. So you need to post it. Everyone should know. And the other reason for this is somebody will relate to what your why is. Somebody will relate to what your why is, and they'll know that if you can do it, that they can do it. So make sure you're posting it all over. And once you write it down tonight, I really think that everybody should go post why you've started this business. Obviously, a lot of it is for income for most of us, but sometimes it's not. Sometimes it's for extra time with your family, or helping your parents pay a bill that you know that they can't go without, like their water bill or something. So people aren't going to understand unless they know what your why is. So make sure you're sharing it. And then I was going to go over plugging in too, but Kelsey covered that. Another thing that I do for plugging in, and I do this every night before I go to bed, and it kind of sets the tone for my day the next day. I follow all the top leaders on YouTube. And I remember it's kind of funny because when I first met Ashley on Instagram, she had a YouTube channel, and I'd follow her YouTube channel and I'd see every flipping thing she posted about the business. And I would just watch all her stuff. I couldn't get enough of it. But make sure you're following other leaders too, and watch. Sometimes you learn something that you wouldn't necessarily learn because you guys hear it from us all the time. And obviously other teams do things different ways, so you never know what you're going to pick up from somebody else. So sometimes I watch those before I go to bed, or I watch them in the morning when I'm making my bed and getting ready for the day. That's another way to stay plugged in. And, oh yeah, for those of you who I just read this quote today, and it was like, aha. For those of you that have started working your business and everything kind of fell apart, and whatever, you feel like you have nothing left, I want to read you this quote. Your miracle is never in what you've lost. It's in what you have left. So don't dwell on what you've lost, or the customers you've lost, or the teammates that you've lost, or whatever. focus on what you have left, even if that's your flipping self. Like, focus on yourself. Doesn't matter if it's just you. And I think that's all. Did you want me to say anything else, Ash?
That was awesome. And I totally 100% agree that, hold on, sorry. Yeah, some of you, it's just you right now. Some of you, that is your entire team. It's me, and I got to start from scratch. Guys, so many times I have had so many people quit on my team, and I'm not saying that to discourage anybody like, oh, does that happen all the time? But this is not going to be everybody's journey. If you want to be an ambassador, you will get there no matter what. You will get there no matter who decides to join your journey or who decides to leave. At one point, when I hit Triple Diamond, there was a total of 8 people that promoted that month with me to Diamond and Double Diamond. And then obviously several executives and Rubies and Emeralds. And within 1 year, you guys, all but one were gone. All of them. And so my ambassador team, the team that was with me when I went ambassador, was almost an entirely new team. But here's the key. I decided it didn't matter. I decided that, well, I really want ambassador, and I will find, if I could find people back then, I can find people now. There's no difference. There are billions of people out there. There are so many people out there that need this opportunity. And so really it's just me continuing doing what I was doing. I really never felt like I was rebuilding people, because I was always, like Kelsey said, I was just building people all the time, and I was still building diamonds. And so it was almost like by the time it happened, I was like, oh my goodness, all of them are gone. What if I would have just been banking on these people, thinking that they were the only hope I had, right? If they decide to quit, that didn't mean that I was forced to be unsuccessful. It's really up to you. And I wanted to ask you guys, how many of you have given yourself an out? You have, said, well, let's see how it goes. Let's just see, maybe I'll do some things and I'll throw a party and I'll do this, but let's just see how it goes. Or maybe you're thinking, I will be 100% committed if I hit Ruby, or if I'm a diamond, then I'll be 100% committed. You guys, you have to commit first. That's the only way everything else will happen. It's really interesting, because when I was a Ruby and I was sitting there for a few months, and I was like falling back, and I'm like, wait, what's going on? I'm going the other way. I wanted to be going this way. I was not committed yet. And it was when I made that decision, I woke up on August 1st and I said, okay, I am going diamond this month. I made that commitment right then and there. I said, I don't care what happens this month, I will make sure that I go diamond. And it's really interesting, because once I made that commitment to myself, and I knew I was going to be diamond by that last day of the month, things started falling into place for me. I started being just so much more aware of my surroundings. When somebody would make a post about they hated their job, maybe before I wouldn't have noticed, but I noticed then. And I'd reach out to that person, and I thought, okay, maybe this is God giving me an answer right here. Maybe this person needs this business. Or I'd hear someone talking at the store, and even if it scared me to talk to them, I'd just go and start having a conversation with them. And it's really interesting, guys, because when that last day of the month happened, and I promoted to diamond, and it was literally like a miracle that day when that all happened. I looked back and I said, wow, if I did not make that commitment on that day, this would not be happening right now. I would still be where I was a month ago or 3 months ago, because I was just kind of sitting there waiting for it works to work for me, and I wasn't willing to work. I wasn't the one getting out there and making things happen, but you have to make that commitment first. And I really want you guys to know, every single one of you have what it takes. You don't need to sit and think, well, they could be successful, but I can't. Really ask yourself, why not you? What is so much different than me or any other ambassador or Black Diamond even that you don't have? Every single one of us is special in our own way, and we all have different gifts, and we all have different things that make us unique, and use that to your advantage in this business. Everyone is so different, and there are going to be different people that you can work with that maybe nobody else could. There are going to be people that you can inspire that maybe nobody else could, and there are going to be people that because you stuck with this business, you are going to help change their life forever. So I just wanted to leave you guys with that. Does anybody else have anything you guys wanted to say or add? Yes, no?
I have another quote that I found this. I'm like obsessed with this guy that I just found on. He's like a bishop or something. I don't even know, but he literally is like life changing. Like he's just so wise. And he said something today that literally like made me like hit me in the gut. And he says, God gives you an opportunity. What you decide to do with that opportunity is your gift back to him. So we all are here for a reason, obviously. Like, no, there's no mistake on why you guys are in this business. It didn't just happen by chance. There's a reason why you're here. You have an opportunity in your hands, and it's your decision on what you do with this business. Like, another thing he said is, don't be foolish in the strongest days of your life. We're only young once. Like, think of your future self, of you as an elderly person, okay? You're going to look back and think, I wish I would have done what I could have done when I was young and strong to prepare for being elderly, right? So make sure you're not foolish with the time we have now and what we're capable of doing now, because it's only a matter of time and then it's gone. So be wise with it.
I love that, Caitlin. And I was actually thinking about that today. I'm like, you know what? We really only have one life. I know YOLO, that sounds so lame, but we really only have this time here on earth. And do you want to look back with regret? That's really like my biggest fear in the world, is to look back and what if you guys just worked a little harder and it made that big of a difference for you and your family and the whole legacy you could leave with your family. And to also add to that too, one thing that month when I was like, I'm going for Diamond and I'm committed, I remember every morning I'd start out praying and I'd say, okay, just give me inspiration of what to do. And any idea that came in my head, I put action behind it, because I knew if I was asking for help and I was like, okay, well, that's a good idea, but yeah, I'm not going to do that. That's too scary. Or I don't dare do that. Or that's way too intimidating. I knew that he would stop giving me inspiration. And so no matter what it was, I did whatever idea came to my mind. And another thing is, if I had no idea how I was going to do it, like those first few parties or whatever, I just said yes and I figured it out later. I said yes to any idea that came to my mind. I put action behind it. And then I used that time before, whatever party it was, or maybe I was in a team training, whatever. That's when I figured it out right before that. That is really how I learned everything, was I said yes to whatever it was and I figured it out. Okay. I love that. Joel Dunn said in our last conference, the pain of failing is nothing compared to the pain of stopping short. Ooh, I love that. That's so good. Okay, guys, I think it's exactly 9, so that was an hour long. Okay, thank you guys so much for getting on with us tonight. I am so excited. I'm so proud to have all of you guys on our team, and I just want to remind you, you have everything it takes. Make that commitment to yourself right now that you're worth it. Give yourself an outrageous goal this month, something that if you accomplish that, man, like it would change your life. For me, back then it was Diamond, and that was me. I that month, you guys, I signed 12 distributors. That's something I'd never done. So many customers. I mean, miracles happened, but it was because I first committed. So commit to yourself right now that you're going to give this month 100% effort, not 90%, not 50%. But 100% of your effort. And we will see you guys on Saturday for those who are coming. And we'll see you live on Saturday in our team page. Bye, guys.